And to be recognised for our songwriting, which we started out doing.
You and
before I
Bernie
became
Taupin?
Bernie Taupin and myself. Before I became a recording artist, we were songwriters.
It all began when Elton John, the legendary British singer-songwriter known for his flamboyant stage persona and boundary-pushing honesty, stunned both fans and the entertainment industry during a candid interview where he openly named 5 actors he claimed to hate. The declaration sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the global fanbase, not just for its intensity, but for the uncharacteristic bluntness of someone often seen as diplomatic, despite a colorful past. This wasn't a passing jab or a vague allusion to industry politics. Elton was direct, detailed, and unapologetically personal in his comments. The naming of 5 specific individuals, none of whom were strangers to fame or controversy, gave the story instant traction, spiraling into one of the most talked about celebrity moments of the year. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. What made this moment even more fascinating was the context in which it happened. Elton wasn't on stage, nor was this a headline-grabbing tweet or social media tirade. Instead, the revelation unfolded during a long-form interview in a formal setting, quiet, deliberate, and entirely unexpected. There was no audience urging him on, no viral trend he was jumping into. It was as if the weight of decades spent in an industry both glittering and brutal finally pushed him to strip away the etiquette and say exactly what was on his mind. And when Elton John speaks with that kind of intention, people listen. The 5 names came slowly, each one introduced with its own story and reasoning. These weren't petty grievances or jealous spats. Each name seemed to trigger something deeply personal in Elton's memory, a reminder of moments when he felt betrayed, dismissed, disrespected, or undermined. He spoke about experiences that had stayed with him for years, encounters that left a sour taste no amount of professionalism could ever wash away. It was this level of sincerity and personal conviction that made the list so compelling. Elton wasn't just lashing out. He was peeling back layers of showbiz civility to reveal the bruises underneath. What truly caught people's attention wasn't just who was on the list, but how Elton framed his discontent. Each actor, according to him, represented a certain kind of behavior he found insufferable: arrogance, insincerity, manipulativeness, entitlement, or outright cruelty. The implication wasn't that these people were universally hated or toxic, but that to Elton, their presence in his life or proximity to his world had left scars. He didn't need agreement or validation. He was simply offering his truth, raw and without embellishment. The naming of these actors created an immediate ripple effect across the industry. Entertainment journalists scrambled to analyze every past interaction Elton had with each of the named individuals. Old interviews were replayed. Footage from award shows and red carpets was dissected. Had there been tension in the way they greeted each other? Did someone roll their eyes, ignore a comment, or deliver a frosty compliment? Suddenly, what once seemed like mundane celebrity interactions took on new significance under the lens of Elton's confession. Entire social media threads were dedicated to parsing the possible reasons behind each name on his list. This revelation also reignited long-standing conversations about authenticity in the entertainment world. Elton John has never been one to play by the rules of celebrity diplomacy. His candor has long been a double-edged sword, admired by fans for its honesty and condemned by others for its unpredictability. But this incident showed just how rare and perhaps necessary such truth-telling can be. In a culture increasingly saturated with curated personas, media-trained interviews, and carefully constructed public images, Elton's decision to speak from the gut was a reminder that not everyone is willing to play nice for the sake of preserving peace. Critics were divided. Some saw the act as reckless and inflammatory. Others hailed it as a long-overdue dismantling of the false harmony that often governs Hollywood's public relations machinery. There was an element of catharsis in hearing someone of Elton's stature refuse to hold back. After all, the entertainment industry is rife with stories of egos clashing behind closed doors. What Elton did was pull those conflicts into the light, even if just briefly. It exposed the myth that fame smooths over all differences, that once you reach a certain level of success, personal grievances vanish. On the contrary, Elton's comments suggested that the higher you climb, the more magnified those tensions become. Adding to the drama was the fact that the actors Elton named were not fringe personalities. Each one was a recognizable figure, established in the industry, with their own legions of fans and critical acclaim. This wasn't a case of punching down or targeting easy scapegoats. It was a bold, deliberate choice to call out peers, equals, people who operate in the same rarefied space as he does. It signaled a deep personal stake. This wasn't about industry gossip. This was about lived experience. And while he refrained from giving specific details that could be considered slanderous, the emotional weight behind his words left little doubt that the animosity was real. The cultural implications of such a moment were immense. It opened a broader discussion about how celebrities process interpersonal conflicts in an environment where almost every interaction is scrutinized, recorded, and dissected. Elton's remarks forced both insiders and outsiders to consider what it means to navigate creative spaces with people you may not respect or even actively dislike. It made people wonder how many other public smiles are hiding private resentments. How many award show hugs mask years of quiet rivalry or disdain? Elton's list also created space for fans and followers to reflect on their own perceptions of the actors in question. Some people began to reevaluate old favorites. Was that charming interview actually manipulative? Was that humble acceptance speech hiding a smug undertone? While Elton didn't ask anyone to cancel or shun the individuals he named, his revelation planted seeds of doubt that would be hard to unsee. In some cases, it led to heated debates online, with some defending their favorite stars and others applauding Elton for his courage. What further complicated the situation was that Elton John is not just a music icon. He's also deeply connected to the film world. From composing for major motion pictures to socializing with actors and directors at high-profile events, Elton isn't a distant observer of the acting world. He's deeply embedded in it. This meant his statements couldn't be brushed aside as irrelevant or out of touch. When someone as entrenched as Elton expresses such specific animosity, it resonates differently. It suggests that the issues he pointed to are not isolated, but possibly reflective of broader dynamics within the industry. The implications for the actors themselves were equally fascinating. Being called out by someone like Elton John carries weight. It's not just a slap on the wrist. It's a public blemish on a carefully managed image. While none of the actors responded immediately, the mere act of being included in that list changed the energy around them. Publicists went into overdrive, making subtle adjustments to how their clients were presented in the weeks that followed. Social media accounts got quieter. Interviews became more measured. You could feel the recalibration in real time, as though everyone involved realized that this moment would have a long tail. Elton's decision to go public with his feelings also sparked a wave of introspection among fellow entertainers. Several celebrities, though not directly involved, commented on the situation in vague terms, speaking about honesty, integrity, and the cost of silence in a competitive industry. It was clear that Elton's comments had touched a nerve. For many, it was a reminder that fame doesn't shield you from emotional fallout. It might even intensify it. When someone of Elton's stature chooses to speak openly, it gives permission, perhaps even a blueprint, for others to do the same. The sheer rarity of such transparency in modern celebrity culture added to the impact. So often conflicts between public figures are shrouded in innuendo, passive aggression, or hidden behind PR smokescreens. What Elton did was extraordinary not because he had enemies, everyone does, but because he named them. He took the risk of being seen as unkind or combative in order to be honest. And that honesty, whether you agree with his perspective or not, was undeniably riveting. There was also an unmistakable theatricality to the moment. Elton John, after all, is a master performer. Even in conversation, there's a rhythm and drama to his storytelling. The way he led into the names, the pauses he took, the intensity of his gaze, it all contributed to an unforgettable sequence that felt both confessional and declarative. It wasn't about stoking drama for attention. It felt like a declaration of boundaries, a public drawing of the line between what he could tolerate and what he could not. In the end, what made this event so captivating wasn't just the names or the feelings attached to them, it was the way Elton John chose to speak his truth. It was a moment of human vulnerability wrapped in the armor of celebrity, a reminder that even icons feel disappointment, frustration, and anger. It showed that no amount of awards, accolades, or adulation can erase the sting of bad experiences or the memory of unkindness. For once, the curtain dropped, and the audience saw not just the performer, but the person. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us? What are your thoughts on Elton John naming actors he hates? Who do you expect? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.